Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's video, we're going to talk about the immigration that is going on, ICE initiative, and the deportation uh, action that Tom Homan is actually putting in place. Right now, they have already deported over 5,000 illegal immigrants, and these are violent criminals. Okay. And then there was some like residual people that they caught, but we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about some of the protests that have been going on in California. There's, I think California is like maybe 47% Hispanic. So they have a vast majority of maybe illegal immigrants that's in California, or immigrants period that's in California. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some of Donald Trump. He's doubling down on trying to secure our border, and we'll talk about the steps that he is taking right now. So that's all on today's episode of Business Talk. So you guys stay tuned.
Little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Ay, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Ay, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad.
You guys put in the chat. Let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Justin Thompson in the building. Thank you for tuning in, Justin. Samuel Matthews. Hello, what is good? Noble Young is in the building. Chris Hall. Chris Hall is in the building. Hanging with AZAU. I haven't seen you in a while hanging with AZ, or maybe you have been, been in the chat, but I think I haven't seen your name in a couple of weeks now. But anyway, Kennard the DJ, it's always good to see you. Posh Petals, tuning in for DC. Wyoming Gal is in the building. Please hit that like, subscribe, and share this video. Make sure you comment on this video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Okay. E. Todd is in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Justin Thompson put our disclaimer up of Fair Use Act. And I see we have Chris Hall tuning in from New York. New York is in the building. So you guys, I can't keep you long. I got to get on into it. The first story I want to share with you. This is Tom Homan. Tom Homan is talking with Fox News in regards on his efforts of, detaining some of these people. Detaining. This is very baffling to me. Okay, this is very baffling to me, and it's particularly I'm talking to all, the people that's on the internet, and if you one of these people, I'm talking to you, and that's on the internet and saying, uh, you know, we need to protect illegals or immigrants. We just need to protect immigrants. If you see ICE, you take off running. And I actually seen this. If you see ICE trying to go for immigrant, you take off running so they could be confused of who they're running after. So they just waste their time so the other person will get away. Um, I'm literally seeing this on my Facebook feed, and I'm asking myself, why are people doing this? Why are people saying, "Hey, protect these illegal immigrants," and the illegal immigrants that they're going after are criminals, violent criminals, not just like, oh, they stole candy from the store. No, well, you're still a criminal, but we're talking about violent criminals, pedophiles, people that have committed sexual assault against people, people that are wanted from human trafficking, people who are wanted for murder, not only in this nation, but in their own country. And they're over here. And we have American citizens that have the gall to say, oh, we need to protect them. And you will say all this stuff until one of your own is affected by the tyranny that these illegal immigrants may have caused other people. It's okay to say it now because you haven't been affected. But when you're affected by some of the criminal activities that the illegal immigrants may have caused, then you're going to be like, oh my God, why are you guys letting them out and doing it? Why are they over here? It's really baffling to me, and I just don't understand it. I just don't understand the logic of people's thinking. So this is Tom Homan talking about what they're doing right now as they're actually gearing up and they're actually ramping up. They caught 5,000 people last week. I'm assuming there'll probably be more because LA police officers are talking about arresting even protesters right now for blocking the freeway. So this is what he had to say.
Meanwhile,
You guys make sure put it in the chat. I want to make sure you can hear this video.
Trump says Venezuela has agreed to take back tens of thousands of Venezuelans who've committed crimes and are living in America illegally, including the dangerous gang Tren de Aragua, as Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and ICE and border officials continue to arrest and deport dangerous illegal criminals, migrants from the country. Joining me now in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is the U.S. border czar, Tom Homan. Tom Homan is in an undisclosed location right now as he begins another operation. Thanks very much for being here, Tom. Can you assess your work so far?
Well, look, I looked at the numbers this morning, Maria. The crossings on the border are down 93%. 93%.
Wow.
That's a bigger decrease than under the first Trump administration. So, look, I've said it. President Trump is a game changer. No one has had the success he's had on securing the border. He clearly understands we can't have strong national security if we don't have border security. We need to know who's coming in, what's coming in, where it's coming in, why it's coming in. And we have achieved a success on the border already. We got more work to do. And on top of that, as far as the deportation operation, we're just shy of, I think we got 5,000 already arrested the first week, and majority of them being criminals. The non-criminals, and the media's talking about, who are these non-criminals? The non-criminals are arrested in sanctuary cities because you force us into the community rather than arresting the bad guy in the jail. And when we find that criminal, he's most likely with others, and they're going to go too. So if you want to be a sanctuary city, you're going to get exactly what you don't want. More agents in the community and more non-criminals arrested.
Tom, I know that you met with Canadian.
And what, let's stop it right there. You are forcing Tom Homan and his agents to go out into the neighborhoods. It's actually more dangerous for them to go in the neighborhoods to try to arrest these convicted criminals or wanted criminals. Only reason why it's more dangerous because now they're in their neighborhood and they have access to whatever they have access to. Instead of Chicago police department and all these other sanctuary cities cooperating with Tom Homan and saying, "Oh, we have these people in custody. Just come and pick them up from the police station." No, they don't want to do that. In turn, they want them to go in, just waste a lot of resources and go in and collect these people. And not only they collecting the people that are wanted criminals, but the criminals that cross the border illegally that may have not done anything. They're just over here illegally. That's what Democrats was crying. Oh, you're just going to arrest everybody. No, that's not what they was trying to do. But since the sanctuary cities and Brandon Johnson, Alf, does not want to cooperate, and Gavin Newsom, and then you got New York. Well, I don't know if Mayor Eric Adams is cooperating. He probably is, but you got all these other sanctuary cities saying, no, we're not going to cooperate. We're not going to cooperate. So that's what you have. You get the residuals. If they catch somebody over here illegal, wanted or not, if they committed a crime or not, no, we have to run their name too. And we see they're an undocumented immigrant, so we have to arrest them. So that's why the number is so high. They have a packet They're literally going off a packet of names of people that they're surveilling. And since they're guilty by association, they're getting arrested too. So you could cry harder. It doesn't make any sense. So this wouldn't have been happening if you had the mayors or the governors willing to cooperate with Donald Trump. I just don't understand it. People go against their own interests. I don't understand that. But this is what we're getting.
Officials on Friday, as the tariffs were looming, the tariffs have in fact been announced and took effect yesterday. President Trump is expected to have a real effect on Tuesday of this upcoming week. Did you get a sense of what Canada's going to do to retaliate?
No, I didn't. I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that. I mean, I'll brief him on the meeting I had, but that's the president's decision. I don't want to get ahead of him on that, but I will brief him on what I heard, and so he knows what they have done, what they said they will do. But I'll leave that after a discussion with the president this week.
Tom, you've also said that you're going to start moving migrants, illegals in this country to Guantanamo Bay, hopefully within 30 days. What's the plan? Are they going to stay there until you can get them back to their home country?
Absolutely. Look, the worst of the worst need to go to Guantanamo Bay. And for those folks that don't know, we've had a migrant processing center there for decades. We don't use an awful lot. Usually it's the Coast Guard holding people from Haiti and Cuba that were, arrested, entered the country through the maritime. So we got a facility there. We're going to expand it a lot and hold the worst of the worst over there. I mean, it's the right thing to do. And the beds are much cheaper over there. So look, President Trump's about efficiency. It's about getting the bad guys out. This is one of many ideas we have, and we're going to put it in place.
Tom, you said that the crossings are down 93%. This is incredible. President Trump put these tariffs in place because of the flow of fentanyl. What can you tell us about that? Because the president has ordered 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports and 10% on goods from China because of their inability or unwillingness to stop the fentanyl from flowing into our country, killing 100,000 Americans every year.
Which is exactly why President Trump has designated the criminal cartels in Mexico as terrorist organizations. I've said from the RNC convention to the president, I said that the terrorists or these cartels have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. So President Trump took the right step. Look at these cartels. They've killed thousands of journalists, thousands of politicians, hundreds of judges, legislators. They're running the country of Mexico. So President Trump's making the right move by, number one, declaring a terrorist organization so the whole government can attack them, not just in Mexico, but in 42 countries. At least cartels in 42 countries around the world now. They're in every major city of this country. They have set up shop. So President Trump's going to hold Mexico accountable. They haven't taken enough action against these cartels. They've been operating for decades in Mexico. They're operating freely. We know that. And look, I'm not going to say every official in Mexico is corrupt, but many are. And we simply know that. So he's going to hold Mexico accountable. They got to take action in these cartels and stem the flow of fentanyl. Not only that, the sex trafficking of women and children across our border. It is illegal in the country of Mexico to sex traffic women and children. But they're not stopping it. It's illegal for anybody from around the world to transit through Mexico without a transit visa. But they're allowing it. So President Trump's exactly right on doing this.
Have you been able to bust into human trafficking operations that are operating in America right now? Because I know that the drug lords got people across, but then they created all these new businesses, drug trafficking and human trafficking businesses, and they've got headquarters in America.
I got to be careful. We're involved. Let me just leave it at that. A lot of this law enforcement sensitive, but we're aware of a lot of it. We're in the middle of some of it, and you're going to see some things happening in the near future on that.
Okay, and
just a little bit about Tom Homan. I saw him. He did a whole series with Dr. Phil, and Dr. Phil, they went out and they was arresting people or whatever. And Dr. Phil interviewed one of the guys. He was wanted for, some type of sex crime, but it was like with a minor. And he actually committed this crime in his own country, and he also committed the crime here. And he was over here, and actually he was arrested a few times for the same type of crime, and he was just wandering around in the city. And this was in Chicago. But anywho, Tom Homan was saying that he encountered at the border when he was working as the ICE director last presidential term, Trump's presidential term, that it was a one particular girl that came across the border. They would come across the border. These minors, these minors would come across the border 3 or 4 times. They were drug mules, and they had a script that they would say at the border. I need to go to my auntie, blah 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 blah, and they would just let them cross. They would just let them cross because they what one of the legislation that Donald Trump put in place, it did not stop minors from, because I guess they wanted to be more compassionate with the minors. It did not stop prohibit minors from coming across the borders by themselves. And so the drug cartel exposed that. That was one of our weaknesses. We just let minors in here, so they expose that weakness. And they were just using, recycling these women, these young ladies, and these little girls and little boys to come in and, do whatever. They drop the stuff off and leave the border. And this one particular minor, he just recalled, and he said this, she told us, yeah, I've been over here about 3 or 4 times doing the same thing, bringing drugs over. So, and these are the type of people that American citizens are protesting. They want to protect these very citizens. You've seen Selena Gomez. I don't know if you've seen her online crying, talking about immigrants. And I'm not saying all immigrants are bad or illegal or criminals, but why are you stopping Donald Trump to fulfill his promise to American people? Because that's why we voted him in office. You guys put it in the chat. Let me know what you think about that. This is the very reason why we put Donald Trump in office, because we wanted to stop the flow of illegals coming across our border. We wanted to stop the flow of drugs coming across our border. Fentanyl killing everybody. If we like, we're in an actual chemical war with China and the Mexican government, because they just allow it in Canadian or in Canada. They're just allowing this type of stuff to come across our border, and they're not doing anything on their side. So Donald Trump is doubling down. Okay. Donald Trump is saying, oh, hell no. You're not just going to just bring whoever across our border. We're not going to allow that. I don't know why is that missing. This news article I just came across. Now, since Trump is doubling down, I guess Mexico ended up caving in, saying, oh, we don't want you to charge tariffs to us. We don't want that 25% tariff on us. So they end up saying, okay, we're going to do our part. And they actually arrested a cartel leader. I guess it was this morning or yesterday evening. And it's saying El Ricky, the drug lord who ordered attacks against Fariza Civil, is captured in Nuevo Laredo. Okay. Ricardo Gonzalez Saceda, alias El Ricky, alleged leader of the Northeast Cartel who led armed attacks against the civil force of Nuevo Leon, was arrested this Monday in Nuevo Laredo, Tamaulipas. You guys, Haven't took Spanish in a while. So anyway, Tamaulipas. That's what I'm going to call it. And the man, also known as Mando R, was arrested through an operation composed of elements of different corporations such as Special Defense Forces, the Navy, the Attorney General Office, and the National Guard, and the Secretary of Citizen Security. This is all on Mexico side. Okay. He's a leader of a group that generates violence and operates in Nuevo Leon and Coahuila. He is linked to extortion and multiple attacks on Fruza civil police officer in Nuevo Leon, say Omar. This is the Secretary of Security of Protection. And you see they got him, you know, hemmed up. They said it ended up in a gunfight, actually. And so El Ricky, which is the head of the drug cartel, said had arrest warrants for homicide and illegal deprivation of liberty. They said the shootings break out after the capture of El Ricky following the arrest of a criminal leader. Specifically, there are 2 shootings on the street of Buena Vista and Nuevo Era neighborhoods, which force authorities to urge citizens to exercise maximum caution. So I guess, this is how they run the streets, like Tom Homan was saying. We know the government is extensively corrupt in Mexico. He didn't say all of them, but it's a lot of government that's extensively corrupt in Mexico. And because of that, the drug cartel is able to do a lot of stuff. They're able to get away with a lot of stuff, like actually kill presidents or inspiring presidents. Remember, before the woman was elected, the Jewish woman, I don't know how she got elected, but before the Jewish woman was elected for the president of Mexico, they had like 3 or 4 leaders that was killed that was running for presidency. That's how they run in Mexico. So Donald Trump was like, oh, and if you guys are not going to control what's coming in over here, we don't pretty much we don't particularly care what's going on over there, but you're not going to bring it in the United States. So if you can't control it, we're just going to put some tariffs on you. If you can't control your part of the border, we're just going to put tariffs on you, and we'll see how it shakes out. And so I think this is how it came. Okay, so we got to start making arrests. We got to start cracking down because, the goods that is being shipped in and that we buy from Mexico. I'm just want to put Mexico tariffs. Goods. And so it's saying, let me just share this with you. This is from News Nation. Here are some goods in the crosshairs of Trump's tariffs in Mexico, Canada, and China. They're talking about auto production. A lot of automotive companies are in Mexico. This is Donald Trump plan, and I think this is a smart one. Okay, you need to make it over here anyway. These are American automakers, by the way. You could make them over here. So Canada is by far America's biggest foreign supplier in crude oil. From January through November last year, Canada shipped about $90 billion of crude oil. And it was ahead of Mexico. Mexico shipped about $11 billion of crude oil. And remember what Sleepy Joe did not too long ago, right before he left office. He tried to put a stop on fracking of any more new reservoirs being tapped in the United States. Why did you do that? I guess to throw a monkey wrench in Donald Trump plan and to actually give us the financial freedom of tapping into our own resources. Doesn't make any sense. And to me, it doesn't make any sense. You guys put in the chat. Why would we buy crude oil from another person and we got crude oil here? We could drill, what they say, drill baby drill. We could drill here and produce our own or extract our own crude oil. And we have large reservoirs that have not been tapped into, but I guess this Green New Deal, we just, okay, but we're going to buy it from some other country. It doesn't make any sense. The logic is not logicking to me. And they said computer, clothes, and toys, not a big deal. Those are not a needed thing. Trouble in Margaritaville. They said whiskey and distilled spirits. Okay, we don't need to drink that much. Who cares? And it's saying it's about $4.6 billion worth of tequila and 108 million worth of mezcal from Mexico, according to the Distilled Spirits Council. Imported 537 million worth of Canadian spirits, including $202 million worth of whiskey. So your wine is going to cost more, or your whiskey will cost more. We get some other stuff from Canada, like some poultry, cheese, yogurt, I think it was saying. Let me share this with you. Yogurt, cheese, toast, and stuff like that. I mean, who cares? This stuff is like, okay, who cares if we get that from there? Because we probably get it from some other place. Makeup, vermouth, that's vodka, right? Or the bitters that mix with vodka. Cane or beet sugar, vegetable saps and extracts, ginger, turmeric, so spices and stuff, tomatoes, fresh and chilled, but we grow our own tomatoes here, so that's not a big deal. Milk, cream, including yogurt, buttercream, or buttermilk. So I guess you'll notice the brands. If the brands is higher than American brands, well, you just buy American anyway. I mean, what's the problem? What is the problem? But you have people and liberals like I saw. What's your guy's name? Mitch McConnell. Was it Mitch McConnell? The minority leader. It's not Mitch McConnell. It's the other guy. Anyway, he was like, "Oh, we're not going to be able to buy Corona and avocados." Like, who gives a damn? You don't even know what they the majority of their imports of Mexico. So, but for him to say, "Oh, we're not going to see no more Coronas," Coronas are going to cost like, Corona is acquired taste anyway. So who cares? And there's another beer that's comparable to Corona. And then we have a lot of artisan plants that make their own beer here. And people tend to like supporting their local brewery anyway. So it's I don't think it's a big deal. Some people are making a big deal out of it. I don't think it is. But I think Donald Trump, he's putting his foot down, which he should. He should put his foot down. So I want to share this with you. Now, so everybody's protesting, and California is protesting, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're going to burn the American flag." You're protesting saying, "Don't deport us." And then you got these damn Mexican flags, and you saying, oh, don't deport us. Like, if you didn't want to get deported, why wouldn't you wave the American flag? You guys make it make sense to me. If I was an immigrant and I love this country and I didn't want nobody to deport me, I would be like, yes, I love America. I would not go in another country and say, oh, don't deport me and wave my flag that I fled. I fled my country to come over here to take advantage of some of the privileges that American people have. And then I'm risking of being deported. So I'm going to be like, oh, I stand with Mexico. Okay, just go back to Mexico. It doesn't make sense. So these fools are burning the American flag. I don't understand this. Do you guys understand this? I really don't understand the logic behind this. But you have them burning the flag. It says Los Angeles, thousands of people protesting mass deportation planned by President Donald Trump marched in Southern California on Sunday, including downtown Los Angeles, where demonstrators blocked the major freeway for several hours. Protesters gathered in mourning on LA's historic Olivera Street, which dates to Spanish and Mexican rule. Before marching to City Hall, they called for immigration reform and carried banners with slogans like "Nobody is illegal." They said "Viva, Viva Mexico." If you Viva Mexico, then live in Mexico. Why are you saying "Viva Mexico"? This doesn't make any sense. Habla no inglés. No make it sense. Like, come on. Like, does this even make any sense? Live in Mexico, but you're living in America saying don't deport me. Then you got your Mexican head wrap. This is like me going to Africa saying, oh, I love America. I love America, and try to get my citizenship in Ghana somewhere, and I'll be like, oh, I love America. Okay, why don't you just go back to America if you love America so much? Why are you over here? I just don't understand. Why are you over here if you love it? By the afternoon, marchers had blocked all the lanes of US 101, causing traffic to back up into both directions and on surface streets. The demonstrators sat down in lanes while a cordon of California Highway Patrol officers stood by. It took more than 5 hours for the freeway to fully reopen. This was Matt Gutierrez said Sunday evening. It says the police department said there were no reports of arrests. To the east, hundreds of people protested in the city of Riverside, passing motorists honked and yelled out in support of demonstrators, waving flags at an intersection, the Southern California News Group reported. And so you got law enforcement personal stage in front of the group of demonstrators who shut down the freeway. Are they protecting or support demonstrators, or what's going on here? In San Diego, hundreds rallied near the city's convention center on Sunday. In Texas, demonstrators gathered in downtown Dallas on Sunday in pair of protests against recent arrests by the U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement. Dallas police told the Associated Press that approximately 1,600 people gathered between the two rallies. Marchers carried Mexican and American flags, and speakers expressed outrage about the rhetoric from Trump and his administration moves to increase deportation. Signs held by the protesters included one that read, "Immigrants make America great." Yeah, I agree with all that. Immigrants do make America great, but not illegals. Like, there's a difference. You're over here illegal, you gonna get got. And then LA police officers so this is through Los Angeles, what's this, NBC. They're saying law enforcement's issue dispersal order on protests in downtown LA. Trump administration and immigration crackdown descended upon downtown Los Angeles on Sunday, blocking the freeway. And at 6 p.m., the law enforcement began to close in on its protesters to get them off the streets of the freeway. Many people are afraid, but I hope if you're watching this and you're scared, and I hope you know that we are all here to fight for you. And this is just the beginning, and we're not giving up. This is what the protester says. This is, the scene.
Kathy Barra.
And I'm John Kennedy's Clemac. Protesters started at LA City Hall this morning, eventually made their way to the 101, completely shutting down traffic in both directions.
Right now, let's get out to NBC4's Tracy Leong. She has an update for us. Tracy.
Yeah, John and Kathy, we are near Olvera Street across from the plaza where many people tell me the demonstration started early this morning. They came out here after seeing a post on social media urging them to protest deportations. Let's get straight to that video that shows these massive crowds. Tens of thousands of people came out here to downtown LA, starting on surface streets before moving onto the 101. As some people entered the freeway, crowds cheered them on from the overpasses and the side streets. LAPD called this a non-permitted demonstration that has remained peaceful. It moved to City Hall through the surface streets before heading onto the 101, blocking both the south and northbound lanes. This protest has continued to grow by the hour since we've been here. Many people carrying signs speaking out against President Trump's immigration policies and massive deportation effort. We spoke to people who came out to show support for the demonstration. Here's what they had to say.
My parents are immigrants, both from Jalisco, Mexico. And if there was one thing that they taught me was to work hard, to be a good person, and to not be intimidated by anything that may come our way. The Chicano, the Mexican, the Latino, Central American, all of us. What helps us be strong is to be united. That is something that's quintessential to our culture.
It's people coming out here today and showing support today, supporting and fighting the government, showing that the authoritarian powers that be will not rise.
Many people are afraid.
I don't have a problem with you protesting, fighting that government. Yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. If you're an American citizen, you have that right to do that. My only problem, if you're illegal and you're coming over here and you say, "Oh, I want to protest and fight the government." No, your government some of these people didn't even have running water. And when they got over here, they got food stamps, they got free health care, power, running water, because this is a basic thing that we provide for our American citizens. So if you want to say, oh, we wanted to protest the authoritarian government, look at where you came from. Mexico is so corrupt that they can't even protest their government because they end up getting killed. You see the privilege that you have over here, and you still walk around with that damn flag. You're saying, oh, Mexico is the greatest. Mexico is not great, because if it was, you'll be over there. That's my only problem with this. You have a right. Look, you have the right to protest if you're an American citizen, but if you're not, you really don't have any rights. If you're not an American citizen, you don't have any rights. I'm sorry, you don't. If I was Tom Homan, I'd get my ICE people and start carding every single last one of these people on this freeway, just to be an asshole. just to be an asshole. I'll get my ICE agents, my Border Patrol agents, and card every single last one individual. You holding the Mexican flag up, oh, you definitely don't belong here, because you want to be in Mexico. Protest that government that didn't give you running water and food. Venezuelans had to come over here because they were getting starved out. They didn't have jobs. They didn't have food. That's how their government treated them. Sometimes they don't have water. Sometimes they don't have electricity. That's why they're over here. And when they get over here, of course, our government says, hey, this is the basic necessity that, the most humane treatment that we could do for anybody that comes over here is to provide food, healthcare, even housing. If you have children, they'll provide housing. They got, I believe the homeless crisis in LA is a little bit ridiculous. It's overfunded, but they're not doing nothing with it. But anyway, you get all these things when you come over here, but your government wasn't doing that for you. So why the hell would you be waving the Mexican flag? I just don't understand it. Somebody put it in the chat. Let me know, why would you wave the Mexican flag and your government failed you? It doesn't make any sense.
Afraid, but I hope you know, if you're watching this and you are scared, we are all here to fight for you. We are all here to fight for you, and this is just the beginning, and we will not give up.
LAPD has issued multiple traffic advisories warning drivers to plan ahead and be prepared for the delays on the 101 and the streets nearby. Reporting.
And then another thing, this is that woke progressive crap, because I guess in LA you have to file for your protest. You can't just go out in the street and protest. It has to be filed. You're just letting, they said, an unsanctioned, I guess, unfiled protest. You just let them protest. Why aren't you finding those individuals? You can't just show up in the street. You're just letting them break the law just because you don't like Donald Trump. This is why I say, I go back to my original statement. We love to go against our own interests. Our own interests, we love to go against. It doesn't make any sense. Let me get to some of your comments, then I'm getting off. Laura said they all need to be deported. Half of those in the picture look white to me. Yeah, and then you have, a bunch of, liberal folks that's going out there protesting, and they'll protest until something happens to them. Like, oh, an immigrant robbed me the other day. Illegal. Because we can't just say immigrant. Illegal robbed me the other day. And I don't know what's the big thing about Mexico. I guess because Mexico is getting tariffed So yeah, there's a lot of Hispanic people in LA, in Dallas, or in Texas, and probably in Florida, a lot of Latinos, but South American individuals that's over here illegal. There's about 10 million people over here illegal. If you guys just do Biden's administration. So what I'm getting at is, we have all these individuals over here illegal from South America, but those are not the only people that they're deporting. I just read the other day they deported a bunch of Jamaicans. So if you're just over here illegal, I mean, they putting a highlight on Mexican Americans and Hispanic Americans or Latinos, but that's not the only individuals that's being deported. If you did a crime while you were over here and they let you go for some odd reason, you're probably going to get deported. And if you're around those people, hello, if you know you're not documented and you're around those people that are criminals, you're going to be a residual because of your person, the sanctuary person that's over your city said, no, we don't want to work with Donald Trump and Tom Homan. So they gotta go into those areas. Anyway, California is the worst. California is the worst. I was hoping to spell hope right. No hope left. Yeah, California does not have any hope. They need to get rid of Gavin Newsom. Hanging AZ, nationalism for American is supposed to be bad according to the left, but illegals can be nationalists. Exactly. You could be national Mexicans, Mexican nationalists. It doesn't make any sense, and you're not even over there. Angel, waving the Mexican flag while trying to stay here. How stupid can you be? That is so embarrassing. Exactly. Mark L, arrest them all. If the state refuses, the FBI will soon be in position to take care of it. Enjoy federal charges. Laura Holland, the legal one. It is not an invasion, but they are waving a foreign flag. Just go home. I've been here and some people are just saying they're calling it quits. They're just like leaving. Okay, we don't want to get deported. We'll just go home voluntarily. And I think that's what you should do. You should save Americans' taxpayers' dime and just leave voluntarily. Hit the likes. The first 1 million are free. Thank you. Hit the like button. Shanita is good morning, and everybody's stopping to hit the like button and enjoy. Spanish conquistadors killed all the natives. Vaughn said IDGAF about deportation, but black people out of it. Leave black people out of it. Well, you got some black people in it. That's when I don't know how long you've been on a live stream, but the post that I ran across about, oh, you guys just start running because, if you start running, they'll get confused and the other people will get away. This was a black guy that was saying this. It's like, why would you do that? It's stupid. They wouldn't do it for you. They definitely won't do it for you. You talking about being down for the cause? No. Mexicans don't like black people. They don't. They rival against each other in Chicago and in LA. You got some people like, oh, this is my homie, but no, most of them they don't mess with y'all. So I don't know why would you be sticking up for them? This is not their government to protest. Exactly. They getting all this free aid from our government, but they protesting us. And you're waving you're waving the Mexican flag and you're protesting here. That doesn't make any sense. American citizens need help. We need our government to enable our pursuit of happiness, not illegal aliens or anyone else. Everyone here is illegal. This is a Native American country. That's incorrect. If you want to get all technical, I don't know if you guys know, like the 14th Amendment. People are mentioning the 14th Amendment, saying, "Oh, it's unconstitutional for them to." Take away birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship was not intended for illegal immigrants. It was intended for actually slavery. Because remember they were talking about, oh, we could send them back to their own country, but their own country, we didn't know our own country because it was generations down the line before, people of as descendants of slaves were even free. So the 14th Amendment was to make Black folks citizens, descendants of slaves, because you got some Black folks were over here already, but I'm specifically talking about descendants of slaves. They were not looked as number one Americans, and they were not looked to as people. And so this is why the 14th Amendment came about. So anyway, and exactly, Mark, Democrats wanted to maintain slavery. Hanging AZ saying we bought lots of land from Mexico. So sad. Too bad. Anyway, you guys, that's it for our talk. You guys stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll be going in on about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. I got a late start because I had to run an errand. So you guys make sure you tune in for our talk tomorrow. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this channel. Okay, I'm sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.